Good morning and welcome back to the 2025-2026 school year. Today I want to talk about transparency and ethical use of AI. At ABC, that's our philosophy. We believe in transparency and ethical use. We're not about restricting technology. We're more about providing it in a manner that encourages responsible, ethical use that enhances learning for everybody. This year, we've updated our AI guidelines to align with how we're actually using AI across the district. The key here is the word transparency. So we encourage both students and teachers to be open about their AI use. When someone shares their AI usage, we want this to start a conversation if it's something that we are scrutinizing or questioning, and not necessarily an accusation. When teachers provide clear AI expectations about their assignments, students can make better choices, more informed, responsible choices. And together, there can be a partnership built on trust, where open conversations can take place about things like when AI use is appropriate and when it's not, how AI use can help in certain situations and how it might hinder in others, and what ethical AI use actually looks like for different tasks. We feel like if everybody is on the same page or close to the same page, speaking a common language, then we can start to mitigate and prevent that unethical use of AI through understanding and not necessarily so much policing. I think I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, Mr. Lanes, that sounds great in principle, but what does it look like in practice? Like, how do I execute this? Well, I think we have some tools to assist in that. So this year at ABC, we're going to continue to use the AI Trust extension. It's a Chrome extension that encourages this open dialogue about the use of AI. It also does a great job of documenting if AI was used and to what extent. And we're going to pair that with our AI badging system. We've made some upgrades to what we used last year. And with the two of those together, those tools, I think we can start to really build an environment based on trust, based on transparency, and based on encouraging ethical, responsible use of AI. Let me show you how it works. Let's take a look at a typical set of instructions. This was for an 8th grade classroom, and they have read a novel, and the teacher wants to see if the students can analyze the rising action in this novel and then design a cover based on that particular rising action. So you see we have the objectives, the success criteria, you see that it's aligned to the standards, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have our rubric and how we're going to score this assignment. And then we want to determine now whether students are able to use AI or not, and to what extent. This is where the AI Trust You tool comes into play. So you see that I've placed my cursor down underneath the rubric. I'm going to scroll up to where the menu offers my extensions, and I'll scroll to the AI Trust You extension. I'm going to slide over and click the Build AI Truth and Trust statement. And this is where, as a teacher, you're going to determine whether or not your students can use AI and to what extent. So it starts like this. Are you a student or teacher? Yes, I'm a teacher. I'm going to click Next. May students use AI on this assignment? You have every right to say no. For this assignment, I want them using an AI tool. I'm going to click Yes. And then I'm going to indicate which platforms they can use for this assignment. For this assignment, I'd like them to be able to use Adobe Express. I'd also like them to use Gemini for Teams. And for this assignment, they will also be using Google Arts and Culture. And you have a button that says Other. If there's some other platform that is not listed here, you can indicate it there. But these are our recommended platforms at ABC. And then you click Next. Now we're going to specify how we want them to be using AI. I want them to be able to use it to get unstuck, for a little bit of research. And because it's an audiovisual assignment, I'm going to allow them to use it to generate an image. So those are the three things. And then I click the Generate Truth and Trust statement. You hold on for a minute, and there you have it. Very quickly, it shows how they can use it, which platforms, how it can be used, and then we paste it into the document, or you have the option to copy it into the clipboard. I like pasting it into the document and including this in my instructions and rubric. And there you have it. So underneath the rubric, students now have a clear set of guidelines and expectations as it relates to AI and their use. If you wanted to color that so it stood out, that might be something that you do by filling that with a particular color so it jumps out. But now students know whether AI use is something that they can use for this particular assignment. That's what it looks like on the teacher end. Let me return and show you what it would look like for the student. My work. I'm super excited to turn this work in, but before I do, I need to let the teacher know how much AI assistance I received in its creation. So I have in front of me a flyer that I created that shows the rising action that I identified from the book Animal Farm. And it's that power struggle between Snowball and Napoleon. And I've tried to capture that in that image here. I have written here my narrative about that rising action. And then I used Adobe Express's text to AI generator tool to come up with my image. And now it's time for me to reflect upon how much AI use did I use. Remember that the teacher has already determined the extent at which it should be used. So a student will go up to the extension menu, scroll down to AI Trust You, and click the Build AI Trust and Truth statement. The interface looks similar, but now I'm approaching it as a student. I'll click Next. Did I use AI in this assignment? Yes, I did. And which services did I use? Well, I used Adobe Express, and I also used Gemini Teens. I used that to sort of prioritize the different rising actions that exist in Animal Farm, and then I was able to determine which one that I was going to focus on. What percentage of work? I did most of this work by myself. I used AI as sort of a thought partner when it came down to identifying which rising action to select. And then for the AI generation, I'm the one who wrote the prompt. So I'm going to estimate that I used AI for about 30%, 35% of my work. And I'll click Next. How did I use it? I used it a little bit to generate some ideas. It gave me some feedback on my selection of rising actions. I did use a little research on the creation of the assignment, and then I definitely used it to generate the image. And then I click Generate Truth and Trust statement. And just like the teacher side of it, I'm going to paste that into my Google Doc. And before submitting this to my teacher, he or she will now know how much AI use I used. Again, if you wanted to color code it so it jumps out, you could do that, highlight it, click the fill button, and now we have a truth and trust statement embedded into my assignment. That's how it works. At the outset of the video, I spoke about how at ABC, we want to take a two-phased approach to building an ethical, open, transparent environment as it relates to the use of AI. This is the second phase. It's our AI Transparency Badge System. It's a visual representation of AI use. If you look at the right, you'll see a series of badges. Those badges represent how much assistance was provided by AI. If you think back to my assignment about Animal Farm, I estimated that I used 35% AI assistant. That would pair with the badge that says integrate up to 40%. So students have done that reflection. Now they need to download those badges. They'll download it one time. They can download by sharing a link to all of the badges, or they can access the badges on their own using the student guidance webpage that's on our ABC EdTech Hub. Once you click download, you'll see that all the badges appear in a folder in my drive. And now I'm going to click the 3-dot menu and download the 40% badge, the integrate badge. Once the badge is downloaded, I will take that badge and apply it or paste it onto my Animal Farm assignment. And now you'll see that I have my wonderful assignment. It has my AI trust and truth statement, and it has my AI transparency badge. So there you have it. That's the ABC AI trust and transparency system. Let us know what you think. We are always listening. We're always open to iteration and revision. But we hope that this is the next best step toward creating an ethical, responsible classroom that uses AI to truly enhance instruction and student engagement.